Once upon a time, there was this wondrous little thing called punk rock. It was a diverse movement that celebrated nonconformity, criticized stupid social norms, called out oppression and discrimination, and rejected corporate capitalist culture. But that time is long gone. Today, punk rock has become a product to be sold no different than a Big Mac, a MacBook, or a Mac truck. Now, for you punks out there who are still clinging to the old anti-establishment ideals of the past, I've got some great news for you. It's not too late to sell out. You might have thought that you missed your chance, but I'm here to tell you that you didn't. In fact, if you play in a punk band, there's never been a faster, easier, or better time to sell out. The road from straight-edge punk to executive-level drunk has been paved several times over. All you have to do is follow it. In this video, I'm going to spell out step by step how you can sell out.
Don't you think I want to sell out?
Though I can't help you with your mohawk to get the smell out, I can help you and your band put money in your hand as your fans shell out. So join me now or get the hell out. Number 1. Signed. Though the world has changed a lot over the past few decades, the quickest way to sell out hasn't. All you gotta do is attract the attention of a major label and sign on the dotted line when they offer you a contract. You don't even have to read the thing. Just sign away the rights to your music, your merch, and 85% of your soul, and the label will cut you a big fat check. And just like that, bam, you've sold out. Even though signing to a major label goes against everything punk rock once stood for, nowadays it seems to be the end goal of most punk bands. Why even try to DIY when you can have some record label guy come along and buy your music, only to use it to amplify your cash supply? Of course, you'll have to say goodbye to your credibility. But with sky-high profitability, who cares about things like nobility and humility? You're here to sell out to the best of your ability. In years past, you pretty much needed to be signed to a record label if you wanted to make any real money from your music. For decades, a handful of powerful labels gatekept what new music you'd hear on the radio and on TV. Then, social media came along and leveled the playing field. Now, any asshole can write, record, release, and promote music worldwide using nothing more than his or her cell phone. So why would a punk band, or anyone for that matter, want to sign to a major label today? Simple. Laziness. In the old days, punk rock was all about the DIY spirit. But in recent decades, that's been replaced by the much less ambitious YDI spirit. Once you're signed to a major label, they'll do all the money stuff, making sure every penny gets squeezed out of your band. Then you guys can go back to worrying about important shit like keeping your mohawks glued up properly. The only thing your band is going to have to actually DIY is getting the attention of a major label in the first place. Number 2. Commercial appeal. If your punk band is struggling to draw the attention of a big record label, there's a lot you can do. By far the most important aspect of any punk band is the way they look. If someone tells you differently, they're lying. It's like when you ask a dude what the most important thing about a romantic partner is to him and he says something like, her personality, or her sense of humor. Bullshit. Any answer other than, the way she looks, is a bold-faced lie. Whether you like it or not, people judge books by their covers, women by their bodies, and punks by their mohawks, ripped jeans, and battle vests. So you and your bandmates had better look like you do all your clothes shopping at an early 2000s Hot Topic. Since the mohawk is the official hairstyle of punk rock, at least half of you should sport one round the clock. Yet, if you all have mohawks, you're just going to look like a flock of peacocks. So, you need to have at least one dude with a shaved head, a multicolored afro, or something else. Once you've optimized your look, it's time to start working on what's by far the least important aspect of any punk band, the actual punk rock itself. The genre's been so watered down over the years that most fans wouldn't know real punk rock if it windmill kicked them in the face or in a circle pit. Which is why you should forget about writing songs about real punk topics like corruption, capitalism, and conformity. No one wants to hear that angry, rebellious shit, especially record labels. Modern punk fans want labels to sign pussy-ass bands like Blink-182 and Simple Plan because they're really just consumer brands disguised as punk bands designed, you'll find, with only one goal in mind: to take as much money as they can out of your hands. The only thing your band's music should have in common with real punk rock is that it's played kinda fast with distorted guitars. That's it. Everything else, the lyrics, the melodies, the harmonies, should sound like they came straight out of an NSYNC song. What's often been labeled as punk rock over the past 2 to 3 decades is, in reality, at best, pop rock. Bands like Sum 41, Simple Plan, and Good Charlotte are essentially just the Backstreet Boys with mohawks and guitars. They all sing upbeat songs with catchy melodies about things like partying and getting laid. Since all labels care about is getting paid, if you're hoping for a record deal to be made, then pussy pop is what needs to be played. As soon as your band has the stereotypical punk look and you guys start cranking out poppy songs about getting drunk, getting laid, and getting paid, you'll start getting attention from major labels. Then, you can officially sell out by signing a record deal. Even though that's all you need, since corporate punks value greed, you and your band concede that you could sell out even more indeed. Once you sell out to a label and start selling out shows, you can start selling overpriced shirts, hoodies, stickers, clothes, and what other sorts of merch God only knows. Number 3, merch madness. Back when real punk rock was a thing, with just $20 in your pocket, you could go to a show and see 3 or 4 awesome bands, order a Coke or 2 so you don't drop dead from dehydration in the pit while picking up change, buy a t-shirt or cassette from the merch table on your way out, and still have a few bucks left over. Nowadays, $20 won't even cover the bullshit fees Ticketmaster charges when purchasing a ticket, nor will it likely be enough to buy a t-shirt. Hell, at most concert venues these days, you'll be lucky if you can get 2 Cokes for $20. As a concert goer and fan, the ever-increasing cost of seeing live music and buying merch is infuriating. However, as a punk rocker furiously eager to sell out as much as possible, you couldn't be happier about the insanely high cost of, well, everything. Because that means your band can charge absurd amounts of money for merch that costs next to nothing to make because it's all sourced from cheap child labor in some country you've never heard of. Those hoodies with your band's logo on them that each cost $8 to make, $80 at the merch table. How about those t-shirts with the cover art from your new album that cost you $3 each? $30 a piece or 2 for $50. What a deal. For you, I mean. It's a terrible deal for your fans. But since you basically just see them as walking dollar bills with hands, many of whom you can't stand, your band's plan is to demand that they spend as much money on you as they can. Shirts and hoodies are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to crap you can sell your fans. Stickers, mugs, posters, tank tops, hats, floor mats, CDs, and vinyl are just a few common overpriced items punk bands sell. Your diehard fans will buy just about anything because they absolutely love you and can't seem to get enough of your merch. Which is good because you can't seem to get enough of their money, and your diehard fans are the ones you can exploit the most. They'll buy anything you tell them to, no matter how stupid or useless. Get creative. Branded cell phone cases, women's panties, men's Speedos, delicious alcoholic beverages, cologne, action figures, coffee, and even the least punk thing ever, credit cards, have all been used by punk bands to exploit their biggest fans for every penny they're worth. But fuck those diehard fans who love you unconditionally and would do anything to support you. If you really want to sell out, forget about your stupid-ass fans because there's an even bigger and better way to sell out and cash in. Do you want to show off your love of music with a comfortable, stylish, and affordable t-shirt like this one? How about one of these? You can find shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers, and other awesome music-related products at MusicBSharp.com. Ordering from the MusicBSharp store is a great way to show off your love of music while supporting this channel at the same time. So, if you want me to keep making these videos, or you just want to get your hands on some cool, high-quality music-related merch, get your ass over to MusicBSharp.com. MusicBSharp.com. Number 4, licensing and corporate sponsorships. To a real punk, greedy, soul-sucking corporations are the enemy. But to an aspiring sellout like yourself, these mega corporations are your best friend. By partnering with one, you can unlock a number of ways to lock down some serious cash. Song licensing is one option. This is when you give a company permission to use one of your songs in an advertisement. Now, I know the idea of having one of your beloved songs in a commercial for some bullshit product you've never used might make you cringe, but it also might make you rich. And there's nothing unpunk about selling the rights to your music so an unethical corporation can sell more products. Not in today's world anyway. If you're on the fence about letting some big, greedy, monopolistic mega conglomerate use your music to sell products because you think it'll make you less punk, you're right, it will. But nobody on the planet gives a shit, including lots of famous punk bands who have sold out on a level you could only dream of. Here are just a few who have sold out to make a quick buck. That's just a short list of punk bands who've gotten paid by letting soulless companies use their music in commercials. Adding your band's name to the list can be a great way to sell out, but it's not the only one. Product placement is another way to go. You know how when you're watching TV, a movie, or a music video, sometimes you'll see like a Dunkin' Donuts cup on a table, a pair of Adidas sneakers in a corner, or a tub of Colgate toothpaste sitting next to the bathroom sink? Looks natural, right? Well, it ain't. That's called product placement, and companies do it all the time. Whenever you see branded content in a video, it's there because some company paid lots of money to make it look like it fits into the scene naturally. What does that mean for you? 2 words. Cha-ching! Companies love paying bands big bucks to include their products in music videos and social media posts. By stuffing as much product placement as possible into your band's media, you can do some serious selling out. Here are just a few punk bands who have included sometimes subtle, sometimes obvious product placement in their music videos. As you can see, many of your favorite punk bands have been selling out and cashing in by licensing their music to soulless corporations for years. If you can get your band's music into, say, a Toyota commercial or have Pepsi pay you to leave a bunch of their cans lying around in your next music video, you can do some serious selling out. Hell, you might even be able to sell out so much that you can quit the band entirely and just lounge around on the beach sipping martinis all day. But eventually all that sweet sellout money is going to start drying up. So what's a punk to do? Do you need to start all over again from scratch by forming a new band and working your way back up the sellout ladder? You could, but you don't have to. There's a much easier way for your aging punk ass to sell out. It involves bringing your old band back from the dead so that its corpse may travel from city to city, selling overpriced merch and playing songs written decades ago that you and your bandmates can't stand. Number 5. Reunited. One of the longest-held traditions in rock music, not just punk but all rock, is to have a farewell tour where you sell insane amounts of tickets and merch because the fans think it'll be their last chance to buy them. Then, a year, 5 years, however many years later, the band reunites, goes back on tour, and sells even more tickets and merch. It's a simple but standard sellout strategy that surely seems to strengthen sales significantly. So start searching for your former bandmates because you guys got some upcoming tour dates. Reunions are a great way to capitalize on your band's name and your former fame. Real punks may have once rejected capitalism and the greedy unfairness that goes along with it. But you're a modern punk, which means you're an opportunistic capitalist who's ready to, well, capitalize on any opportunities that may come your way. And the opportunity to make millions from your aging fans by organizing a reunion tour is not the type of opportunity your greedy ass is going to let slip by. So, you do what most punk bands do after they've been broken up for a while and start running out of money. Put together a few reunion shows, or maybe even a full tour. You certainly wouldn't be the first. Lots of punk bands have reunited, not because they love the music and miss playing together, but because they either ran out of money or just felt like doing a little more selling out. Here are a few examples. Bands pull this reunion shit all the time because it's one of the easiest ways to sell out. By cashing in on your former fame, you don't have to worry about things like putting out new material because none of your fans want to hear that shit. They only want to hear your old songs. Even though you're almost as sick of playing them as you are sick of having to be around your old bandmates again, you'll never get sick of having that sweet reunion money coming in from all angles. Number 6. Get a job. It happened to most of the hippies of the 60s and 70s. It happened to most of the hardcore punks of the 70s and 80s. And now, it's gonna happen to you. You're finally gonna hang up the battle vest, let down the mohawk, put on a monkey suit, and go get you a nice, cushy corporate job. Though hippies and punks might not have much in common, as they grow up, they both come to the same sobering realization, that all their ethical principles and lofty ideals won't put food on the table. However, a mid-level management position at Walmart or Amazon will. So, they abandon the ideals a younger version of themselves would have fought and died for, and adjust to their new role as a low-level cog in the capitalist machine. At first, every time you punch in, every hour you spend trading your time and energy for money like a common whore, it eats away at your soul. But having a steady paycheck also eats away at the thousands of dollars of credit card debt you racked up over the years buying lots of designer punk clothing, gallons of mohawk glue, and insanely priced concert tickets. Over time, as you dig yourself out of debt, your attitude gradually changes. You no longer find yourself putting adjectives like soul-sucking and mind-numbing before the word job when describing your corporate gig. You do, however, find yourself increasingly talking about things you didn't even know existed a few years ago, like 401ks, credit scores, and stock options. Nothing will help you forget about the punk rock ideals you once stood for, like having to stand for 8 hours a day at some job. Which is good because your former punk rock self wouldn't be able to stand who you've turned into. But you now understand that there's no money to be made standing up for what you believe. So you don't just accept standard American greed, now it's what you're all about. And like all true Americans, the only things you care about are cashing in and selling out. See what I mean? There are lots of great ways for modern punks to sell out. In the blink of an eye, you can make huge sums of money. So you and your bands need to come up with a plan for your brand to milk as much money from your fans as you possibly can. For a while, you may be able to resist and hold out, but eventually you'll give in and join the long list of punk bands who've sold out. If you like this shirt, it's available in lots of colors and sizes at MusicBSharp.com, along with lots of other awesome music-related merch. Link in the description. And if you'd like to hear some of my punk-inspired music, check out my album Denialism, or search for this dude on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you listen to music.